Hello and welcome to The Simple Dollar. My name is Nicole and today we're taking a look at the American budget and we're figuring out some ways to start saving more money. By now at this point, it is no secret that a lot of people are in a cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. Specifically, about 76% of Americans are in that cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, and that includes a lot of people that are making more money than the average American and a lot of people who are making less money than the average American. Since there are people that are earning well below the average American income and they appear to make it somehow, it stands to reason that there are tons of people out there who have a little bit of fluff, a little bit of excess that they can shave off their budget each month. The challenge comes in because people don't like cutting back. It's a simple fact. Most people look at budgeting and cutting expenses as a form of deprivation, and it's not something that people look upon favorably. And this could be because of the I deserve it mentality. Have you ever had a moment where you said to yourself, I work hard, I deserve that item? Whether it's a pair of shoes or a new makeup palette maybe, or maybe it's a new car, but it's the story that you've told yourself that you deserve it and therefore you go out and spend the money on it. The truth is that most of our spending is rather invisible to us. When we think about cutting back on expenses, we think about those tiny little steps that we'll take to shave a fraction of a percentage off of our budget. But in reality, it is those large expenditures in our household that we don't often think about that are really silently killing us. That is what I see when I look at the average American budget. In fact, I see so much room that we'll be able to ultimately fund that emergency fund, save for a rainy day, and meet some of those financial goals that have been weighing so heavily on our heart, but we just didn't see where the money was going to come from. Trust me when I say it's there. Let's take a deeper look. So here are the details straight from the source data, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. The average American household earns $63,784 before taxes, which amounts to bringing home $51,100. From that amount, the average American spends $9,004 on transportation, $6,602 on food, of which $2,625 of that is spent in restaurants, and $3,977 is spent on food that is actually eaten at home. In addition to that, the average American is spending $5,528 on insurance and pensions, $1,604 on clothes, $2,482 on entertainment, and a whopping $17,148 on housing. And to top that off, we're spending an average of $3,631 on healthcare, $1,834 on cash contributions. This includes donations and legally required spousal and child support, and finally $3,267 on other expenditures. To further set the stage, the average American household consists of 2.5 individuals, 1.3 of those actually being individuals that contribute financially to the household. An average household owns 1.9 vehicles and 63.7% are homeowners. So why am I sharing all of these numbers with you? Why am I throwing all of this information out to you? What is the takeaway point here? The first thing that I'm noticing is that there isn't a lot of money to set aside for savings. And the second point is that there doesn't appear to be a ton of money being wasted either. You might expect that if a person isn't saving a bunch of their income, that they might actually be wasting a bunch of their income. But in the case of the average American household, that is just not true. There isn't a bunch of obvious fat to cut from this budget. So how does the average person find a way to save money? Let's do some math. The average American household contains 2.5 people who spend an average of $6,602 on food per year. For this scenario, let's assume that every person eats 3 meals a day, 365 days a year. That adds up to 2,737.5 meals per year for the average family. In other words, the average American spends $2.41 per average meal. But what if the average American family could shave 10 cents off of each of those meals? You could potentially do that very easily by eating out less, maybe eating out every other week as opposed to once per week. And maybe once per week you decide to make a super cheap dinner at home instead of going out at all. Or when you do go out to eat, you could decide to order water with your meal instead of getting a soft drink or a glass of lemonade or iced tea. Or maybe when you buy your groceries for home, you can get the generic ketchup instead of the name brand one. At the outset, that might not sound like a lot. It's really not changing your quality of life, but at the same time, you could save something like $274 per year by just making those small adjustments. So that's it. Just by shaving off a dime per average meal, you could save your family hundreds of dollars per year. Next up, let's take a look at housing. The average amount spent on housing for this scenario is $17,148 for the average American family. Now, this amount goes far beyond just your basic expense of rent. It also includes utilities, insurance, and taxes. According to the U.S. Energy Information Association, the average household uses about $110.20 worth of electricity per month. So if you're looking to shave some of those dollars off of your energy costs, you could do things like switch to LED light bulbs in your home, or you could open windows instead of running the air conditioner in your household. That could amount to as much as $10 of savings per month, which is $120 per year. What about homeowners insurance? The average American household is spending approximately $952 per year on their homeowner insurance policy. This is something you could easily shop around and get some comparison quotes for. Maybe you can save $50 per year. That's an additional $50 that you have now shaved off of your budget and you can use to save or maybe even to invest. If you're looking for a major change and a way to save a ton of money in your budget, maybe it's time to think about downsizing your home. Perhaps you have a ton of unused space in your home and you can downsize to a smaller place and be able to not only save on the mortgage or rent, but also be able to save on energy costs throughout the house. If you trim just 10% off of your housing expense, you could save $1,714 per year. Now let's take a look at entertainment costs. The average American household spends $2,482 annually on entertainment. I'd also venture to say that some of those quote-unquote other expenses also fall into this category. Based on this information, the average family is spending about $200 on entertainment per month. In order to make a difference in your budget and start to save on some of these entertainment costs, it really doesn't require a ton of effort. Very simple things like borrowing a book from the library as opposed to going out and buying it brand new, or taking advantage of free opportunities for entertainment in your community as opposed to buying tickets to a concert. These things can go a long way towards saving money in your budget with very little effort. Ultimately, if you can get to the point where you are saving $20 per month on your entertainment needs for your household, that amounts to over $240 per year that can be saved. But what about transportation? The average American family is spending about $9,004 per year on their transportation costs. This not only includes the cost of the car, but also the fuel, the maintenance, and other outside forms of transportation like plane or train tickets. As with the other parts of the budget that we've discussed so far, transportation is really no different. We can find very easy ways to save on the costs here as well. Let's say, for example, you drive 15,000 miles per year, and you decide to replace your 20 mile per gallon car with a 25 mile per gallon car, you could save $3 per gallon. And that adds up to a savings of $450 per year. In addition, you could shop around for your car insurance needs and save up to $10 per month, which would add up to $120 of savings per year. And also, let us not forget that mass transit could represent a huge opportunity of savings if you live in a city where it's easily accessible. So what does it all add up to? We've thrown out a bunch of numbers here. What does it all amount to? If you implement every single change that we have discussed here today, you would save over $2,700 per year. That amounts to more than 5% of the average American's take-home pay. Now, although you might not remember all of the details, all of the nitty-gritty of the numbers that I've shared here today, the big take-home point is that none of these changes are radical. For the most part, these are changes that you can do once and then just forget about it, and it really doesn't alter the way that you live your life day to day. The only difference is that maybe you have an additional $200 in your pocket. Let us not underestimate the power of an additional $200 in your budget per month. That money could be used to pay down debt, to add to your emergency fund, or to increase your 401k contributions at work, or maybe you can start investing in a taxable account. The question is, what's more important to you? Is it more important to eat out 3 times per week? Or is it more important to pay down debt, save, and invest for your future? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have not already, please make sure that you click like and also subscribe to the Simple Dollar channel. Also make sure to check out the description box below because we have added tons of resources and tools that will help you on your financial journey. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.